Hey girl, hey, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Misha. Thank you guys for joining me yet again for another review. Tonight we are reviewing The Real Housewives of Atlanta. This is season 13, episode whatever, child. All I know is I wasn't here for it, okay? Oh, God. These Atlanta housewives this season have just bored me. I don't know. I just can't really get into it, y'all. But let's get into it if we're going to get into it. But before we do that, welcome if you're here listening for the first time. I give lighthearted reviews with a little bit of laughter behind them. And if you're back for a second or third time, then welcome back. Make sure you go ahead and take a moment to hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so that you will be updated each and every time I upload a video. All right, so when The Real Housewives of Atlanta first opens up, you know they do those reels where they show all the girls. We see Drew getting ready for the trip, talking to Ralph, honey, who's probably happy she finna get ready to go so he can go down there to Tampa, okay? Or wherever he was, because, honey, I quite frankly think he just randomly said Tampa, honey. They don't even sound like a place you just would want to go just to be going, okay? So she was talking to him and saying that she let him know that they can invite the kids and she's happy to be getting back to work. Then we go over to Cynthia. She's doing a get out and vote PSA. I almost slipped and broke her neck, but you know Cynthia. She's so sweet and lovable, honey, just smiling through the pain. Then we go over to Portia. She's trying to pick Pilar up, and Pilar is like, put me down. I got some things to do and some places to go. So then we see Toya and Latoya and Candy talking. And so Latoya was like, I can get used to this. All my rich friends and all these private jets, honey, production paid for this one. But and all these private jets. And so then Candy was like, well, I hope this trip is better than the one you and Kenya put together. And Candy, I concur, okay? Because it was a mess, okay? And then so Latoya said, ooh, that's shade. She said, well, at least I hope the food better, honey, because y'all know Candy, she got to get her food, child. And New Orleans has good food, Candy, so you should feel right at home, honey. It's all kind of places to eat. Then we see the ladies board the private jet, and they're on their way to New Orleans. And so, you know, that Drew extended the invitation for them to invite their kids. Now, if you listen to my review of when they were in Charlotte, I said these heifers had fake outrage, especially with Candy full on cried, honey. She been doing too much acting these days, child. She brought the shy down to Charlotte because she was full on crying about not being with Blaze, knowing dang on well that she was inviting Bolo to come down there with his Bolo. And so what you want them kids there for, honey? This is a girls trip. So Kenya said that the girls were all outraged, but yet nobody brought their kid. She's the only one who brought Brooklyn. Okay, Kenya, finally you said something that kind of halfway makes sense. So Portia was like, well, I never said I would bring PJ. I just wanted to be offered. Girl gone, honey. Then we see Drew said, you know, they're trying to take some shots or whatever on the bus. And so Drew was like, Latoya, are you drinking? Latoya was like, no. So Drew said, well, I support Latoya not drinking, honey. Not the shade, child. So then they talk about Kenya and Latoya. And then Latoya was like, yeah, since you and Marlo became friends, I'm going to get Kenya back and have Portia on the side. Kenya jumps up talking about, well, at least you know who the side chick is. And Portia was like, no, ma'am, honey. I will never be nobody's side dish, honey. I'm an entree. Okay? Anyway, they get to New Orleans. The second line meets them there, honey. You know, they got the brass band playing as they get off of the bus. So Drew goes to get the room keys. Okay. This is my thing. You know what? I'm going to save it. Drew goes to get the room keys, and then Drew gives Cynthia the best room because she didn't sing at her wedding. Girl, I'm sure she was fine. Okay, anyway. So then Drew said, I want y'all to get up and bounce to get the best room. Now, mind you, they do something fun each and every time it's time to get room keys, okay? When they were in Greece, they had these girls jump in the pool with their clothing still on. They had some of them eat raw something with their eyes closed, take the makeup off. It's just what you do when you go on a girls trip. So Drew was trying to keep it going. Here go Kenya, because you know she cannot play by the rules. She makes her own rules, okay? So she was like, I will not be degrading myself for a key. Can I have my room key? And Drew was like, girl, what is wrong? But first of all, I would have been like, why are you rolling up on me? Honey, you want to get that I dotted right here in front of Brooklyn. That's what I would have said. But she ain't me, honey. So she was like, okay, just calm down. She's like, can I get my room key, please? She's like, come on. I mean, calm down. Can I get my room? I'm like, oh my gosh, girl, just please give her the room key to that Indigo child. It ain't gonna be nothing special. They're hotel rooms, okay? If you seen one, you seen them all. What do you need all that square footage for? You ain't gonna do nothing with it, honey. It's just you. Anyway, child. But Kenya has baby Brooklyn, so I kind of understand that she didn't want to bounce that ass, okay, in front of Brooklyn. But one day Brooklyn will grow up and see how you were busting it wide open, chocolate, okay, when you were down there in Charlotte at the bachelorette party of it all. I'm just saying, honey, if you're going to do it there, you got to do it everywhere. So then Drew was like, you paid for that booty, now bounce it. I'm like, Drew, you going to make sure you get your shade in that confessional, honey. And Drew, let me speak directly to you, honey. That auntie blue sequence gown dress that you're wearing in the confessional with that aunt wig, honey, you acting like you a niece, but you dress like an aunt. I just want to let you know that. I hate that confessional look. And you keep showing it week after week. Girl, is that the only one you did? Anyway, and I like Drew. I don't want y'all to get me wrong. I actually like Drew, but child, girl, hush. So anyway, Kenya gets her room key and then she goes inside, okay? And she's like, is there a bigger suite that I can have? And so she says, I'll pay for it. So she upgrades her suite, honey. she ain't gonna be playing them games as she did to Marlo. So the girls go to see the room and Drew asked Cynthia, like, wow, what was Kenya's energy? Like, why is she acting like this? And Cynthia was like, child, she might be tired, okay? If she act like that on the bike ride, then I'll talk to her. Because Drew had told him that they were gonna ride bikes, okay? Drew comes down dressed like, child, Drew, honey, you have single-handedly taken the crown from Giselle over Real Housewives of Potomac for worst dressed housewife. It's like, I don't even, like, I would start side-eyeing Portia if I were you, honey. She claims she your friend, but she need to pull you to the side and tell you about that ensemble. Come down dressed like a psychedelic bike rider. Honey, what is going on? Child, I said, what in the sparkle? Portia, girl, I'm speaking directly to you, honey. If you don't get this girl, they get on the bus. So then everybody coming down or whatever. Shamia comes down with her bedazzled. Girl, these girls going to bedazzle something in a minute, honey, if they don't do nothing else. She comes down in this bedazzled mask with heels on. I'm like, she did tell y'all were going bike riding, right? Anyway, so Kenya tells the girls she upgraded her room once they get on the bus. And, you know, they're all looking like, what? Because Kenya will be Kenya. I don't know why y'all acting surprised. Then Candy calls and tells them that she isn't far away. Child, and why did I not even notice that Candy wasn't there? Like, I legit did not notice that she was not there until she called. Child, the shade, honey. And, yeah, so they get to this bike riding trip. Shamia has these heels on. I'm so confused. They get a history lesson of the city, and then he drops them off at the Acme Oyster House, okay? And if you've been to New Orleans, you know that they got some good old food up and through there, okay? So when they sit down, Kenya asked Latoya if she was okay. She was like, nah, I'm frustrated. She's like, well, why? She's like, I don't want to talk about it. And I'm like, Kenya, do you like the girl? Do you don't like the girl? I'm confused, okay? They get all these, you know, different New Orleans type foods, and then they try the fried oyster. Portia gonna say, well, you know, I'm a baby vegan, so, you know, baby vegans make mistakes. Portia, cut the crap, because I heard you order that prime rib on the last episode when you were sitting down with Dennis, honey. Child, don't nothing get past me. Girl, you know you gonna pretend to be a vegan every few seasons, and that's okay. Marlo called and said that her back was hurting, and Kenya said, oh, what's wrong with my new bestie? Child, Portia cut them eyes at Kenya so good. I said, oh, honey, child, it's gonna be a fight. Latoya said, because they were just eating and smacking, okay? And you could hear them slurping on the ice and the water and whatnot. So Latoya just blurts out, not another Fallon party. Honey, it was looking a little dry. I mean, normally I don't really just agree with Latoya, honey, but I'm going to say what I'm going to say. I'm going to speak my speech. If I agree, I'm going to say I agree, honey. Snooze fest. So then Kenya said, why did you keep saying that Fallon's party was boring? Because it was boring. So her and the other thousands of us on Twitter, we didn't see the same thing. Girl, gone. So she was like, so then Drew just blurts out, Latoya, why aren't you drinking? Okay, now I didn't agree with that. She don't have to drink if she don't want to drink. Let me tell y'all something about me. When I go somewhere, I'm the girl that don't drink. I'm like Candy. Where's the food? Okay, that's all I care about. What are we going to eat? I plan my whole trip around food. I'll be like, okay, so if we're going to Miami, I know we got to go here, and I know we got to go to Little Havana because they have the best this over there, and then we got to go down here to get the best this. I'm like that. I don't drink alcohol. So I don't understand what's the big deal about this girl not drinking. Y'all ain't gonna do nothing but talk about her, and if she start acting a fool, gone off the Henny. So what you worrying about if she drinking or not for? You ain't even her friend. So then Drew starts going on about, you know, well, Latoya said, because Latoya said, I don't feel like it, okay? So then, she starts singing this song. I don't feel like it be. I don't feel like it be. I don't feel like it be. Child. I'm like, oh my God. So Portia looked at Latoya and she said, are you talking to Drew? Are you calling Drew a B? Honey, because Portia was like, this ain't what you want, girl. Better check my track record, honey. I don't care where I'm at. I'm gon' act a fool, okay? Drew said, you told me at church. And Portia said, y'all went to church together? Dang, Portia, can anybody be friends with anybody? Portia, now you getting crazy, girl. So anyway, she was like, no, my driver introduced her to Prophet Lot. And then he was telling her, she should, rein in her drinking. And then Latoya started crying. I don't think you should have blurted all this out at the table. I understand you don't really like Latoya. But if y'all have a private conversation about something as serious as her not wanting to drink and wanting to fast, first of all, fasting is something you do in secret. You ain't even really supposed to tell nobody you're fasting. Okay, if you really want to get real, if you want to get into it, let's get into it. Secondly, I just didn't appreciate that moment. That was not a moment to share with the table. You were trying to have a moment at her expense. I didn't like that. Okay, I don't like Latoya, but that just wasn't right. So after that, Latoya was like, I'm about to go. Okay, as you should, honey. Get on and get up out of here, honey, because they're going to tell you a new one in a minute. So Kenya was like, if you're trying to help her, then why are you putting her on blast? And that's what I was trying to figure out. I'm like, girl, what are you saying? So Latoya gets up and leaves. Kenya goes outside to talk to her, and she was just like, I'm over it. I'm ready to go. Gets in her car, honey, leaves that fried alligator on the table, and she's on her way back to the room. Okay. So Candy calls in, honey. She at the gas station, probably picking up some of them pralines and cream they got down there in New Orleans gas stations, child, or some of them what else they be having at the gas station down there, child? Some boudin or something, honey. She getting something to eat at them gas stations. Because let me tell you something. New Orleans and Louisiana gas stations, they're not like the ones that we have in our cities, honey. They got food, liquor, wine, gambling, honey, voodoo dolls. I'm talking about they got everything in New Orleans. I love me some New Orleans, child. That's my trip, honey. When you just want a quick getaway, go on down to New Orleans and have yourself a good time, honey, and bounce that ass, okay? So then Candy calls in and tells them that she's at the gas station or whatever. And so they're like, well, Latoya left. And Candy was like, why? And so then Cynthia was like, and she's not drinking, by the way. Cynthia, girl, shut up, honey. Then Marlo calls in, says the back hurting. Okay, we already went through that. Kenya tells Cynthia. Kenya goes over to Cynthia's room, okay, and started telling her, Drew is coming off as a bully. Like, she's actually bullying Latoya. Girl, you're reaching, honey, says the biggest bully that ever graced the Real Housewives of Atlanta stage. Honey, you used to say that Nene was a bully. You are the bully. Child, how quickly we forget. Cynthia was like, I don't even like the word bully. I don't like that, because you have to remember that Cynthia actually likes Drew. Okay, she's the one that brought Drew on the scene. So she was like, I don't even like the word bully. So then Cynthia was like, you just don't like a child. You don't understand. You just don't like her. So all this you saying, honey, one end out the other. She escorted Kenya on up out her room, honey, as she should. Drew is over there with Portia. And then Drew tells Portia that her assistant is actually the one who invited Latoya to church. Shamia shows up at the suite too, and Portia was like, Drew made me drink. Girl, somebody always making you do something, girl. Whatever. They start to talk about Portia and Marlo's conversation, and Portia starts crying because, she felt that they were really building a friendship. Drew says, y'all need to talk because it could bring some understanding, honey. It's just a big misunderstanding, and it is. Then Drew, we see another scene where Drew is getting glammed up to go do her radio interview. Brooklyn in there tearing the place up in Kenya's room, honey, and coloring all on the walls and everything, honey. You wanted this suite. You should have kept in the suite that Drew was paying for, so you wouldn't have to worry about them crayons. But now that you're paying for it, honey, your card will be charged. Girl, oh my goodness. So Cynthia comes to Drew's room and the other ladies, and so they go out and they're talking. And then it starts to rain, honey, because, child, God was like, y'all get on back inside. Latoya was acting all weird. Marlo, 2 steps on in, honey. I thought your back was hurting. Your back look intact to me. Girl, wasn't nothing wrong with your back. You wanted to break from them heifers, and ain't nothing wrong with that. Drew tells them that she had Zydeco dance scheduled for them. And they were like, what is Zydeco? And then the producers asked Candy, do you know what Zydeco is? She said, probably another dance I don't know how to do. Candy. Oh, Candy got the personality of a wet mop. Lord, I tell you, honey. So Drew was like, look, the rain done came down, but you helpers got the Zydeco lesson, and I got to go get my radio interview on. So y'all go ahead and go to the Zydeco lesson. They get there to the twerk dance, Zydeco dance thing. And child, anything dance related, Candy can't do it. So she's standing there looking how she looking. All the other girls are bouncing at it. Okay. Especially Portia, honey. You know she gonna get to going. So then Drew and Cynthia arrive at iHeartRadio. They do their little thing. Portia pulls Marlo to the side to talk. Honey, this was the most childish and petty conversation I've ever seen. Portia tells her that she's moving funny and she feels like Marlo has not been reaching out to her since she became friends with Kenya. Marlo said, well, I didn't say anything when you and Kenya were getting close, and you know she was doing all that what she was doing to me with the whole Kenya Moore hair care and all that kind of stuff when she bust up on the scene. She didn't like that at all. So Marlo asked Portia, she was like, so I just want to know. Because, you know, they were trying to talk their way through it, child. So then Marlo said, what was Kenya said, was that true? Marlo, listen. Wrong road, honey. Wrong road. Girl, why would you ask that girl that? So Portia said, why does Kenya feel comfortable even coming to you about me and my business or whatever happened with Bolo? Portia said, Marlo is coming to, she said that Kenya was coming to Marlo because Marlo is easy to manipulate. I don't think Marlo is that weak-minded. Marlo is very strong in her stance. She gonna do what she gonna do, and she gonna say what she gonna say. So I don't feel like Kenya came to her because she was weak-minded. And Portia, Cynthia is the one who put them together. Child. So Portia was pissed that Marlo asked her that question because she could not believe that she would come in her face and play in her face like that and ask her a question like that. And I agree. Like, why are you trying? It feels like you're trying to gather information to run it back. That's just my opinion. But then we know Marlo is a little bit messy. Let us not forget how she did Eva when she found that little bit of information out about Eva. Honey, she ran that to the whole table. Okay. So Portia in her confessional was like, you know, you can be friends with both. I don't understand why it's a problem, but Portia, you don't really feel like that, honey. You want her to only be friends with you because you don't trust Kenya, okay? And that's understandable. Marlo, they get back on the bus, and so they were talking to Marlo, and they're like, what's wrong? What's going on? And Portia was like, we just had to have a heart-to-heart because we haven't had one. And Portia, you know, she's talking rather nicely, and Marlo was like, child, look, it was too much energy exuded and I can't give y'all too much right now, so come back to me in about an hour or so and I'll give y'all all the information y'all need. And Portia kind of looked at her. Kenya was looking crazy, and everybody on the bus looking crazy, and that's pretty much. Oh, and Candy showed up. I forgot to tell y'all that Candy showed up, honey, and she looked through her goodie bag and she was like, ooh, a bag of chips, because y'all know Candy got to get her food. All right, well, that concludes this episode of the Real Housewives of Atlanta review. I'm sorry I couldn't give you more, but there was nothing to give, honey. Pretty soon, my review is going to be 5 minutes long. Child, I hope y'all pick it up. And I don't know if you're going to pick it up because y'all have shot the reunion already. Oh, my goodness. All right, y'all. I did the best I could do. Thank you so much for listening and or watching. Please do not hesitate, like I said, to subscribe, comment down below, share this with a friend. Please come back for more. It really helps me. Thank you to all my new subscribers. As always, stay safe, stay blessed, spread love, not germs. Peace.